Have you ever noticed a strange shift in your relationship? A moment when the other person seemed to realize that you've seen through them, that you understand the true nature hidden behind their confident, powerful facade. If you're living with a narcissist, this moment isn't just a turning point, it's the beginning of a storm. Narcissists maintain control by keeping you confused, making you doubt yourself. But when you start to see what's hidden, when you stop playing by their rules, it triggers a strong reaction. They know you know. And that terrifies them, not because they feel guilt or want to change, but because they sense their power is under threat. Today we're going to talk about this very moment, about how a narcissist recognizes your awakening, about what they'll do to regain control, and most importantly, about how you can stand your ground amidst the chaos. This isn't just about understanding them, it's about reclaiming the life you've lost. Do narcissists have self-awareness? This is a question many people ask when confronted with their manipulation and ruthless behavior. The answer, much like their nature, is far more complex. They are aware, but just enough to avoid facing the truth. Narcissists are not oblivious or unaware of the consequences of their actions. They know when they hurt you, and they understand that their outbursts, control tactics, and criticisms are not acceptable behavior. But instead of confronting this with remorse, they choose justification. Narcissists live in a world of inner conflict, where the fear of being exposed constantly clashes with their need to maintain the illusion of perfection. Deep down, they know they are not perfect, and this insecurity drives them to build walls of control and grandiosity. They cannot bear to face the truth about themselves, so they suppress it by blaming others and manipulating situations to retain control of the narrative. This explains why they act the way they do when you start seeing through their games. They don't want to admit that you've uncovered the truth, because doing so would dismantle the mask they've meticulously constructed over the years. It's not just about you seeing them, it's about their deep-seated fear of having to confront themselves. That is something a narcissist will never want to do. This faint awareness that they cannot completely deny the truth, but also cannot endure facing it, is what creates the painful cycle they pull you into. But here's the key. Their self-awareness is not a strength, it's a weakness. Once you understand this, you'll realize they are not as invincible as they want you to believe. Their insecurities shape their behavior, and when you grasp that, you begin to reclaim control of your life. In every relationship with a narcissist, there's always a tipping point. It's the moment they realize you're no longer the same, that you've seen through them. But this change isn't obvious or openly acknowledged. Instead, it feels like an undercurrent, quietly shifting beneath the surface. You begin to respond differently. You stop arguing when they provoke you. You no longer feel the need to explain or justify your actions. You remain calm in the face of their threats or insults that once deeply hurt you. You become more self-reliant, and that terrifies them. Narcissists are highly sensitive to changes in how others respond to them because they rely on controlling your emotions and behavior to maintain their sense of power. When you stop playing by their rules, when you're no longer a source of attention, submission, or superiority for them, they sense it immediately. This is when the relationship enters a more dangerous phase. They won't admit that you've seen through them. Instead, they'll escalate their efforts to regain control. They'll try everything to pull you back into the dynamic they're comfortable with, where they're at the center, and you're doing everything to keep the peace. They might attack you with cruel insults, targeting your most vulnerable insecurities. They may threaten to leave you or use cold, calculated silence as a weapon to make you feel isolated and desperate. This tipping point isn't just about your awakening, it's also their fight to reclaim the power they feel slipping away. But it's also your opportunity to stand strong, to see clearly that their behavior isn't about you, it's about their own inner fears. And when you understand this, you'll begin to see that their power was never truly theirs to begin with. It's always been in your hands, just waiting for you to take it back. When a narcissist realizes that you've seen through their true nature, you'll witness a storm of chaos. For them, this isn't just a failure in manipulation, but a dire warning that the foundation of their power is crumbling. And their response? Intense and, at times, seemingly uncontrollable, but in reality, driven by a deep-seated fear. At first, they might escalate their attacks. Sharper words, crueler and more calculated actions, all designed to dismantle the confidence you've just regained. They know your vulnerabilities, and they won't hesitate to exploit them to drag you back into a state of dependency. Things once shared in the most intimate moments may now be weaponized against you. This isn't about personal malice, it's about their desperate need to feel superior and restore the balance they feel slipping away. When emotional assaults fail, they shift tactics. Silence and detachment take center stage, not as a means to create space, but as a form of punishment. They want you to feel isolated, to beg for the attention they once granted with calculated control. Yet even then, you'll notice something new. Their silence no longer weighs as heavily as it once did, because now you see it for what it truly is, a tactic. What's most unsettling is the unpredictability of their behavior. One day they hurl cutting remarks that make you feel worthless. The next, they attempt reconciliation, offering promises you know they'll never keep. But don't be fooled, those promises are not rooted in genuine remorse. They are a last-ditch effort to regain control. Here's what you must remember. They're not angry because you're wrong. They're angry because you're right. You've uncovered the truth. They've spent a lifetime hiding their insecurity, their fear that their power is nothing but an illusion. Every outburst, every attack, is evidence that they are losing their grip on you. When you understand this, the power dynamic begins to shift, not through confrontation, but through your calm resolve. And that's what they fear most. Breaking free from a narcissist's control isn't simply about leaving a room or ending a relationship. It's a spiritual journey, a liberation of the mind from the invisible chains that have held you for so long. For a narcissist, control is more than a habit, it's survival. And for you, escape requires not only courage, but also a deep understanding of how they operate. First, you must recognize that their control never started with their actions. It began with how they manipulated your mind. They made you believe you weren't enough, that you were the source of all problems, that you needed them to survive. This is a form of psychological programming, and undoing it doesn't happen overnight. But you are not powerless. This journey begins when you change the way you see things, not just them, but yourself. The first step is realizing that you are not the source of the problem. Their outbursts, insults, or cold indifference are not reflections of your worth, but a defense mechanism for their fragile ego. When you stop taking responsibility for their behavior, you begin to reclaim control over your own mind. Next, establish clear boundaries. Narcissists despise boundaries because they limit their power. They will try every tactic to break them, but it's essential for you to remain steadfast. Boundaries aren't meant to change them. They're meant to protect you. Every time you uphold your boundaries, you strengthen your self-esteem and weaken their ability to manipulate you. Finally, accept that you cannot change them. Narcissists only change when they choose to, and even then, it's exceedingly rare. You are not here to fix or save them. Your journey is about reclaiming your life, your freedom, and your sense of worth. Liberation doesn't come from them becoming a better person, but from you becoming a stronger version of yourself. Remember, escaping a narcissist isn't about running away, it's about walking away with pride. They may try to pull you back, they may try to make you doubt yourself. But the truth is this: once you've started this journey, the power has already shifted back to where it belongs, with you. Understanding the nature of a narcissist is the turning point that brings the freedom you once thought was unattainable. It's not just about identifying the manipulative behaviors or psychological games they use to control you. True understanding is recognizing that what they do is never really about you. It's always a reflection of their deep fears and insecurities, a battle within themselves that they will never admit. Freedom begins when you stop taking responsibility for their emotions and actions. They may blame you, may use every word to make you feel like you're not enough, but you understand that none of it defines your worth. This is the moment you realize you don't need to win meaningless arguments or try to change them. You don't need their approval to know your value. But this freedom doesn't come easily. It requires you to look inward and break free from the cycles you've become accustomed to, cycles of trying to please, of living in fear of abandonment, or feeling like you need someone to feel whole. When you understand the nature of a narcissist, you're not just freeing yourself from their control, you're beginning the journey of healing yourself. Understanding is not about revenge, It's not about proving you're right and they're wrong. It's about reclaiming peace. When you truly understand a narcissist, you'll realize that their anger, abuse, and mind games no longer have power over you. They can't make you doubt yourself, can't make you feel small. And in that moment, you'll feel a profound sense of relief because you'll see the truth. They never truly controlled you, they only made you believe they did. True freedom is stepping beyond the fear, leaving the whirlwind of manipulation, and living life on your own terms. It's when you look at the narcissist and no longer feel anger or resentment, only peace because you know they can no longer touch you. Facing a narcissist is not a battle to be won, but a journey to protect and restore yourself. You cannot change them, but you can change how you respond and live within the relationship. They want control, want you trapped in a cycle of doubt, helplessness, and seeking their approval. But here's the truth, you don't have to play their game. And when you stop playing, they lose their greatest power. The first and most important strategy is to take control of your own mind. Narcissists thrive on emotional manipulation. They want you angry, hurt, and feeling small. Don't let it happen. Maintain your calm, not to appease them, but to protect yourself. They may try to spark arguments, but you don't need to engage. Respond briefly, keep your emotions neutral, and if necessary, choose silence. Your silence is not surrender, it's a declaration that they no longer control you. Next, set clear boundaries and defend them at all costs. Narcissists cannot stand boundaries because they limit their power. They will try to overstep, challenge, and even mock you for daring to establish them. But remember, every time you stand your ground, you send a powerful message that you respect yourself and will no longer let them dictate your life. Boundaries are not just walls of protection, they're affirmations of your value. Let go of the expectation that they will change or see reason. Narcissists don't operate from a place of empathy or rationality, they operate from a need to protect their fragile ego at all costs. This means that any effort to make them objectively recognize the problem will only exhaust you. Instead, focus on changing how you perceive them. When you release the hope for their change, you free yourself from unnecessary disappointment and pain. Prepare for escalation. When a narcissist realizes you're reclaiming control, they will react more intensely. Their anger will grow, their criticisms will sharpen, and they may resort to any tactic to pull you back into their orbit. Don't let this discourage you. This is not failure, it's a sign your strategy is working. Every reaction from them is a reflection of their fear of losing power. Finally, build your support system. Isolation is one of a narcissist's strongest weapons. They want you to feel alone, misunderstood, and without options. Don't let that happen. Connect with people who truly care about you, friends, family, or a professional therapist. A support system is not just a space to share, but a source of strength that helps you stay grounded. The strategy for dealing with a narcissist is not about fighting them, it's about refusing to let them win. It's about reclaiming control over your mind, emotions, and life. And when you do that, you not only free yourself from their manipulation, but also reclaim something they tried to take from you. Your true self, strong, confident, and unshakable. Understanding and confronting a narcissist is not an easy journey. It's a path that demands courage, resilience, and, above all, self-awareness. But remember, you're not here to fix them, nor are you here to be swept away by their storm. You're here to rediscover yourself, to build a life no longer controlled by manipulation or fear. As you begin to see through their psychological games and reclaim control over your emotions and thoughts, you'll realize something remarkable. They no longer hold any power over you. Every step you take toward freedom, every boundary you establish, is an affirmation that you deserve peace, respect, and true love, starting with love for yourself. So if you're feeling weary or doubting your ability to change your circumstances, remember that you are stronger than you think. You've already begun this journey, and with each step forward, you'll see the light of freedom grow brighter. Keep moving forward, not to prove anything to them, but because you deserve a life that is full, peaceful, and yours. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of discovery and healing. You are not alone, we're walking through this together. See you in the next video.